I'm going to talk about how stories are more powerful than PowerPoints. And for that, let me start with a story of my friend who got caught stealing mangoes and used stories to escape punishment.
This is interesting. Go on.
When I was young, I lived in a place where there were a bunch of houses and every house had mango trees in their backyard. Okay. Now, of course, the owners of those mango trees hated it when somebody else stole their mangoes.
Of course.
But that didn't stop us kids.
Again, of course.
So once my friend Karthik was stealing mangoes from one of the most sought after trees and he got caught.
Ho ho ho.
Now, instead of just cowering like the way the other kids used to do and try to apologize, Karthik said, well, auntie, you know what? We are doing a community pickle. We are taking one mango from every tree and we are going to make a pickle of it, and that's why I was here. The auntie's heart melted and she let him take the mango. In fact, she said, you know what, beta, you take that one, that's a better mango.
Oh, Karthik was in a pickle. He used the example of a pickle to get out of it.
But, of course, you realize there was no pickle. Karthik went away and just ate the mango. Okay.
Well, it became a pickle in his stomach.
The truth is, there was no pickle. Karthik took the mango away and he just ate it. Okay. There's another lovely example of the power of stories. Okay. There are these researchers who sold trash for $3,600.
Trash?
Well, what they did was they bought 100 items, completely silly items from second-hand stores. Like unused birthday candles, lost keys, things like this. Okay. Every item was around $1. Okay. Total 100 items cost less than $130.
Okay.
Then they tried selling each of these items on eBay. But instead of just describing the item, oh, these are birthday candles, they wrote a story along with every item. In fact, what they did was they contacted some of the best authors they could get their hands on and asked that author to write a story about that item. And on eBay, photo of the item and the story, no description of the item. And you're just supposed to buy it.
Oh.
And what happened?
Yeah, I would fall for it for sure.
Oh yeah. So, for example, a pink horse, right, came with a heartbreaking story. Poor woman with 2 daughters who could barely make ends meet. And then one of the daughters died and the second daughter died, and the pink horse was their favorite horse. Sold for $104. A ceramic horse had a story about how the parents of this person met during a college ragging incident that involved something sexual. Okay. $62. A little salt shaker in the shape of a bear, right, came with a story of like a epic poker game and full description of the poker game and how this person won, and the other person had bet the salt shaker also because he was running short of money. Sold for $36.
Wow. This actually reminds me of another thing that I'd read on the internet called one red paper clip. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Is this the guy who was exchanging?
Yeah, he basically took one red paper clip and said, I will exchange this with anything you have. And in a series of 14 exchanges, he exchanged it all the way to a house. A house.
Started with a single red paper clip.
And got a house out of it. 14 series of exchanges. I'll put the link in the show notes description. But it's a wonderful story because at each point, he generated a story to go along with it. The original story was, of course, that I want to exchange this one red paper clip into something of the highest value I can. And the highest value he found was the 2-storied house.
So yeah, absolutely. The power of stories. I mean, this wouldn't have happened if the story wasn't there to go with it.
Absolutely. In fact, reminds me of Ernest Hemingway's short story, 6-word short story. And imagine finding a listing with baby shoes and these 6 words: for sale, baby shoes, never worn. I bet you would buy that. That's a short story by Ernest Hemingway, 6 words. For sale, baby shoes, never worn. breaks my heart every time.
Stories are better than PowerPoints, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love to think of, what Sholay would be like if it was done using a PowerPoint presentation, right? You can imagine, first it starts with roadmap, Jai and Viru's background, you are here, problem definition, intro to Gabbar, intro to Thakur, conflict intensifies, you can, that's not, nobody is going to go sit and watch it unless they're getting paid for it.
You just ruined Sholay for a lot of people, including me. But that actually brings back the original question. Why are stories better than or more powerful than PowerPoints?
Actually, it has to do with the nature of human memory.
Okay.
Statistics, numbers, these are not things that we grew up with in the African savannah.
Right? Yeah.
Those go to the front part of your brain, the system 2 brain, and we have difficulty remembering those things for a long time.
Correct.
Okay. Whereas stories have been with us for a long time.
Yeah.
So we remember stories for much longer.
True.
For example, and there is research showing this, that if you want to get people to do something, right, and if you want them to do it right away, give them statistics and numbers which will motivate them. If you want them to do something much later, give them a story, because the statistics they're going to forget in a little while. Okay, they're not going to remember the statistics, but the story stays with you.
Yeah, so short-term motivation, use statistics and numbers and hard data, logic, etc. Long-term motivation, use stories.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, but see, the thing about stories is that stories can actually be dangerous. They can be used to manipulate emotions.
Stories are one of the most dangerous things on earth, right? Because when you really think about it, all misinformation is stories. Okay, in fact, we did an episode on misinformation, and we pointed out that if it comes to you in the form of a story, be very, very suspicious. It is likely to be misinformation. Whereas if it comes to you in the form of data and statistics and facts and things like that, it is likely to be the truth, right?
Yeah.
All misleading ads, right, are based on some story. Oh, your son will shoot up and he will become a 6-footer if he eats this, right? All scams. Right? Like the Nigerian prince who was suddenly arrested and his widow now has so many $1 million and she's trying to get it out, right? It's the story that draws you in and then you end up losing 83 lakhs, right?
Okay, so he's right. There is a perfect beginning, middle and end to the Nigerian scam story. So
all news, right? They're trying to sell you more stories because that's going to play with your emotions. That's what you will remember. That's what you're going to go with, right? So whereas statistics and facts don't make very interesting news, right? They're not going to make money on that.
That is true. That is very, very true. We just evolved to be stupid story lovers, I think.
And also the big problem here is that once you believe a story, the facts stop mattering, right? I mean, in another episode we called that believing is seeing, right? You believe a story. Now every new fact that comes in, if it strengthens the story, you will believe it. And if it goes against the story, you will say, well, that fact is wrong, or the person saying it is lying, or that person is doing it out of bad intentions, right? You will reject.
You will do everything to uphold the story that you've already built for yourself, the story you've already accepted for yourself.
But the good thing about stories is that they are also absolutely necessary for human survival and flourishing. Okay. In the book Sapiens, Yuval Noah Harari argues that everything in modern life is based on stories, right? Because getting a large number of human beings to agree on something and to work together on something, that, oh, we are going to build a statue, we are going to make a country here, right? All of them is a coordination problem, and coordination problems are difficult. To get everybody on the same page and working on the same thing, you need a story that everybody believes, right? All of religion is a story.
It is absolutely a story.
The concept of a nation is a story, right?
In fact, it's an epic story, we might as well say.
Right? Because if you removed all the humans and somebody came to earth, they wouldn't be able to tell what is a country and what is not a country, right? It's just in our heads. In fact, when you really think about it, belief in science is also a story, right? So, I mean, it just has a little more
rigor to it,
but it's still a story.
Fair. Essentially, like I was just saying, we humans are story lovers. We love our story.
Another proof that storytelling is an important part of our evolution comes from research of primitive tribes. Okay?
Okay.
A whole bunch of hunter-gatherer tribes people were asked, who in your tribe would you really like to spend time with or live with? Okay?
Okay.
And they collected information about who got the most votes.
Huh.
Most votes always were received by the best storytellers. Not the best hunter, not the best gatherer, not the best medicine man, okay?
Okay.
But the best storyteller. And when you think about it, think about the most powerful man in your country, right? It's likely to be a storyteller. He sold you some story about the future, right?
Channel बंद करवाएगा ये.
An investor, venture capitalist, once told me that when he's looking for founders, startups to invest in, the most important thing he looks for is, can the founder tell a story?
Oh.
When you think about it again, the greatest teachers are the ones who told you the most interesting stories about the material they are teaching, right?
Especially with history. I'm yet to find a good history teacher who can tell history like a beautiful story, which it is supposed to be. But anyway, go on.
And the other issue with humans is that if there is no story, we will make one up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of random facts which just happened for no good reason, but we will connect them up into a story. That explains all of astrology, right? That explains all of tabloids.
I was thinking more along the lines of my 4th standard maths textbook with all its illustrations. We actually concocted a story with each illustration, and it was a very coherent story. I don't remember what the story was, but yeah, we do take random assortment of facts or random assortment of things and make a story out of it.
Check out our episodes on Fooled by Randomness. All of those are examples of our brain taking random data and connecting them up into a story.
But that actually gives me an idea, man. If we can combine statistics, data, and I mean statistics, data, numbers, logic, whatever, and storytelling, we will be able to, well, be as powerful as we want, but also, more importantly, remember facts for a longer period of time.
So there is a lovely TED talk by Hans Rosling.
Okay.
What he did, he wanted to talk about how poverty has decreased, how the world is getting better, but he didn't give a list of statistics.
Okay.
Instead, he told the story of his grandmother and how when she first saw a washing machine, she was amazed at how much time will be saved for women.
Yeah.
And then he connected that up into how a washing machine is the borderline between poor and not poor. If you have a washing machine, you are
Not poor.
not poor. And then he connected it up with statistics of people getting out of poverty, women getting free time, and so on, right? So check out the TED Talk. We'll put a link here.
That's actually quite smart and quite nice.
Yes, everyone, all of us need to learn these things.
Yeah.
So, but keep in mind the following things, right? Stories are but a double-edged sword.
That's true.
It's like nuclear power. You can use it for horrible things and you can use it to save the world, right? So when you need to remember something, use a story. There are in fact people who do these amazing feats of memory, right? Who can recite so many digits of pi and so on. One of their important techniques is to convert the list of facts into a story, right? On the other hand, if someone tells you a story, try to unwrap it and see what are the underlying real facts.
Yeah.
When you are trying to convince someone, use stories and emotions instead of statistics, right? I'm not saying just have completely made up stuff.
Yeah.
Make stories which are based on the statistics. Send the statistics as a message afterwards.
Like Hans Rosling did.
Like Hans Rosling did. But when you talk to them, you tell the story. And more importantly, try to get better at telling stories. Important skill. It will make you better than a hunter, better than a gatherer, better than a doctor.
Yes, medicine man I was going to say, but sure, better than hunter, gatherer, medicine man, a storyteller. We are storytellers here at Future IQ. Srikanth and Naveen are our names. Remember it.